Good morning to parents and children everywhere. Welcome to another wonderful rendition of Sunday School at Living Lord Lutheran Church. It seems like we just did this, Mrs. Mary Ellen.
But good morning.
How are you today?
Wonderful. How are you?
Great, and hello to Mr. Bob.
Hello, Richie's. How are you two?
Wonderful. Well, we had a kind of exciting weather week.
Yes.
A little bit of snow to remind us that that's still going to happen.
Rain,
Spring's coming on, rain, but nice weekend.
Yes.
And what do we have?
Wonderful things to come.
2 weeks away from Easter Sunday.
Yes.
So if we're counting them up, how many Sundays have we had in Lent?
This is Lent number 5.
5.
Yes.
Fifth Sunday in Lent. Well, wonderful, Mrs. Mary Ellen. Do you have some good music picked out for today?
It's called Love Come Down.
Wonderful, and we've got a great story for you today. So let's get up on our feet. Let's have some fun. I will sing forever of your love come down. With my hands to heaven shout your praises aloud. I was lost in darkness, but you pulled me out. I will sing forever of your love come down. I will sing forever of your love come down. With my hands to heaven shout your praises aloud. I was lost in darkness, but you pulled me out. I will sing forever of your love come down. Oh, 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 oh. Thanks, Mrs. Mary Ellen. Well, do we have another good song that we want to do for opening?
Oh, it's perfect for Lent. It's called Lord, I Lift Your Name
Oh,
on High.
that is a great song. Kids,
wanna do it
again,
2
let's
times or
join
3
me. I think one time
One time,
through for
okay.
everything, all right? Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I love to sing your praises. I'm so glad you're in my life. I'm so glad you came to save us. You came from heaven to earth to show the way. From the earth to the cross, my debt to pay. From the cross to the grave, from the grave to the sky. Lord, I lift your name on high. Thanks, Mrs.
You're
Mary
welcome.
Ellen. Well, today, as Mrs. Mary Ellen helped us remember, we're in the 5th week of Lent, and let's remember some specific things about Lent. What color is Lent, Mr. Bob?
Is it purple?
You would be correct. Kids at home, I'm sure that was right there with the answer, purple. How many days is Lent, Mrs. Mary Ellen?
40.
40 days excluding Sundays. So as Mrs. Mary Ellen said, week 5 means we're 2 weeks away from Easter. And we have an awesome story today from John chapter 12, verses 20 through 33. And 9 letters. A lot,
Big
not
one.
our biggest. Mrs. Mary Ellen hit the button.
Yay!
Uh-oh.
It's
Mrs.
a
Mary
no.
Ellen hit the button again.
Wow. Double?
A double-double.
Double.
This is banner today. All right, kids at home, think hard, and we're going to get some guesses. We're going to start with Mr. Bob today.
Ooh. I'm going to go with an S for Mr. Steve.
Ooh,
Did I get it?
it's the first letter.
Wow.
It's the first letter. Like
Only
S should
one.
always be. It's the most important letter in the alphabet. But only one, Mr. Bob. But it was an awesome guess because now it sets the tone for the next 8 letters. Mrs. Mary Ellen, give us a guess, please.
How about an E?
We had started at the front of the word.
Okay.
Now we're all the way at the back of the word. Mr. Bob, still 2 double-doubles out there.
I'm gonna go, next month is April, I'm gonna go for an A.
A, what a great guess.
All right.
Are there 2 A's?
Ooh.
There are not
Ah.
2 A's, but A was a good guess. We are 3 for 3 on guesses. Mrs.
Wow.
Mary Ellen.
Are there more vowels, Mr. Steve?
There are more vowels, Mrs. Mary Ellen.
Would there be an I?
Hit the button, Mrs. Mary Ellen.
2 I's. This is not really helping though.
It's not. So we've got S and 4
I
vowels.
wonder if our friends at home know.
This could be a tricky one. Mr.
Yeah.
Bob, over to you. There's still a double left.
I'm gonna try R for Robert.
That is a great guess. That is a great guess. We are knocking them down today.
Is there a D?
Ooh, that's a good guess, Mrs. Mary Ellen. There's no D, but in the alphabet, Mr. Bob, there is a letter very close to the letter D.
We have E, so it can't be E.
Right? Because we used it.
A C.
Mrs. Mary Ellen, hit the button!
We got to share the doubles
Oh,
today.
yay.
Okay, the wheels are turning now, Mr.
Well,
C's.
we have 1 letter left, Mrs. Mary Ellen. Kids at home, you've probably guessed it already.
So, is it an F for sacrifice?
Oh, Mrs. Mary Ellen.
What a fitting word for this time of year.
Isn't it? That's wonderful. So our 9-letter word today is sacrifice. And remember, that's going to come from our story from James. And Mrs. Mary Ellen's going to come up and help me out. We have something new today. It was a nice suggestion by Mr. Bob that while Mrs. Mary Ellen and I are reading the story, we put the pictures from the Bible on larger print. And Mr. Bob will be able to focus in on those
Great.
pictures while we're reading.
Exactly, that way he doesn't have to follow my hands moving and the page turning
Yes.
and, okay.
So we are going to be reading the story from death to life.
Okay, I'm ready.
A crowd of people from Greece gathered with Jesus' disciples. The Greeks hadn't heard Jesus teach before and wanted to hear his message.
Have you ever tried to grow a plant?
Jesus asked.
Before a plant can grow, you have to bury a seed. The seed dies, and then it comes to life as a plant that bears fruit like grapes or grain. My life is like the seed.
Jesus continued.
Like the seed, I will die, but then I will come alive again.
The Greeks wondered at these words. Jesus was going to die and come back to life? How was that possible? They had never heard someone teach like Jesus. Suddenly, God's voice rang out like crashing thunder.
Listen to my son.
The crowd jumped in surprise.
God is talking to you.
Jesus said.
I will die and come back to life. When I'm gone, people will realize who I am. They will think of others first. They will choose to give up things so they can serve me. Like the seed that becomes a plant, they will bear fruit that feeds the world.
The Greeks were amazed. They wanted to learn more. How do we serve Jesus, they asked.
Whoever wants to serve me must follow me. Listen to my words, serve others, love others. Then you will want to serve more and love more. That's how you serve and follow me.
What a great lesson for
That's a
today,
good story.
Mrs. Mary Ellen. Well, I'm thinking about our word for the day. And I'm thinking about the word sacrifice, and I'm thinking about what the meaning of that word might be. So kids at home, you might have an idea, but since I have Mr. Bob and Mrs. Mary Ellen, Mr. Bob, can you think of the meaning of the word sacrifice?
I can. You know, I'm a big baseball fan.
Oh, that's right.
And in baseball, sometimes a hitter will sacrifice. He'll get an out so the runner can advance. So he won't think of himself, he'll think of the whole team.
That is a great way to think of the word sacrifice. And again, as Mr. Bob said, he's a baseball guy, so there is a sacrifice and a definition for it. And we're talking about baseball, but keep in mind what he said. You said the one player sacrifices.
So the other runner can go, so he's sacrificing for the team.
He sacrifices for the team. Thank you, Mr. Bob. That's a wonderful definition. Mrs. Mary Ellen, how about you? Do you have a definition for
I
sacrifice?
do, because I think sometimes sometimes you think that it's a sad thing when you're sacrificing, like I had to sacrifice my time or, in some other way. But when you think about it, you're giving to somebody. You're giving your time, you're
Right.
giving help. So I think the words sacrifice and generous are very close.
Wonderful. And if we're thinking of sacrifice like this, where one player does it for another and it betters the team, and this is a person sacrificing for another, what would the opposite of sacrifice be then?
Oh, well, if you weren't being generous or sacrificing your time, I would say then you were selfish.
Yes, selfishness. And in our story today, it's kind of an interesting meaning that Jesus tells the people that wanted to hear him. Remember, they had come from all over because they wanted to hear Jesus preach, and he tells them the story about the seed. Now, sometimes you might plant seeds at home. You might put seeds in a garden for flowers. You might put seeds in a garden for fruit or vegetables. But this is an interesting definition that Jesus gives to planting the seed. He said, what happens before that new life comes up from the ground? What happens to the seed?
The seed dies, but then the life comes
Yes,
from
the
that.
seed sacrifices itself for whatever is in it to grow. And Jesus says something very interesting to the people. He says, I am like the seed, because I too will die, and I will come back for you. Now, when we look at that around Easter time, and this is such an appropriate word when we think about sacrifice, Jesus was all about giving for others, to love and to serve. But most importantly in the story, and Mrs. Mary Ellen, you read the words, what does he say for people to do to be like him and to follow him? What does he say?
Well, to love and to serve, and that the more that you do that, the
Exactly.
more love grows inside of you.
Absolutely. And
I don't know if I'm saying it exactly.
oh
like
no,
that.
I think you said it very well. I can say how we feel on Sunday when we finish doing our music with the kids, when we do opening.
Yeah.
Always makes me happy, makes me joyous to see all of the children joining in with the music, and sometimes they know it, and sometimes they shout out, let's do jumping up and down today. It's our way of being able to serve and wanting to continue to serve. What a very good lesson today from John chapter 12, verses 20 through 33, and a good
Wonderful.
lesson for us to use everywhere.
Yes.
Well, I know that we had a birthday during the week. We did. Leah Kuhn on St. Patrick's Day,
Ooh,
March 17th.
wonderful.
We hope you had a wonderful
Happy
day,
birthday, Leah.
and we will do some happy birthday. Happy birthday to a song before we go to Awesome God?
We do. Are you all limbered up?
I'm limbered. What are we going to do?
Well, because we have to go higher, higher.
Oh.
Lower, lower. Higher, higher.
Higher, higher. And then
Really low.
Cast your burdens.
Yes.
All right, Mrs. Mary Ellen, let's try it. Up on your feet. Cast your burdens unto Jesus, 'cause he cares for you. Cast your burdens unto Jesus, for he cares for you. Higher and higher and higher, higher and higher and higher, higher and higher and higher. Lift Jesus higher, higher, higher and higher and higher, higher and higher and higher, higher and higher and higher. Lift Jesus higher, higher. Cast your burdens unto Jesus, for he cares for you. Cast your burdens unto Jesus, for he cares for you. Lord and Lord and Lord, Lord and Lord and Lord, Lord and Lord and Lord. Stop saying Lord, Lord and Lord and Lord, Lord and Lord and Lord, Lord and Lord and Lord. Stop saying to Lord. Up, cast your burdens unto Jesus, for he cares for you. Cast your burdens unto Jesus, for he cares for you. Higher and higher and higher, higher and higher and higher, higher and higher and higher. Lift Jesus higher, higher, higher and higher and higher, higher and higher and higher, higher and higher and higher. Lift Jesus higher, higher. Wonderful. I feel like I got my workout today,
I know.
Mrs.
Is your
Mary
heart rate up a
Ellen.
little bit?
It is. All right, let's go through Awesome God one
Okay,
time.
we'll calm down
All
now.
right. Help me out. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome God. Let's fold our hands, let's bow our heads. Dear Lord, thank you for this wonderful story from John this week and our word sacrifice. And just like Mr. Bob gave us the definition of sacrifice for baseball, and Mrs. Mary Ellen gave us a non-baseball definition of sacrifice, both of them mean to put others first. Mr. Bob said in baseball it means one player sacrifices for another player, and it's a sacrifice for the team as well. Mrs. Mary Ellen said it's a sacrifice for others, that you put them first and you do something for them. Well, Jesus told us his story today, and he said sacrificing like the planting of a seed, where the seed dies and then generates a plant or a flower and beautiful life, and how Jesus told us that just like the seed, he will die but come back to life for us so that we might have life everlasting. Help us to remember sacrifice, God, to put others first, to do for them, God, what is best for them, and to do really the opposite, not be selfish, but always to be giving and loving and serving others, because it makes us want to love and serve more. We ask that you watch over our world, God. We are so close with all of the vaccines that are available, and we ask that you help our medical experts and all of our healthcare professionals get people vaccinated all over the world, and we ask that you bless our children and keep them safe. In your name we pray, and all God's children shout, Amen. See you next week, kids. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.